The BJP had consistently accused the UPA of being too trusting of the United States of America. And I just pointed out to MJ Akbar what he doesn't like, that their actions since they came to power go on to show that they are not too far behind. I gave 3 or 4 examples to MJ Akbar. Yes, Mr. Anjan.
And after that, Arnabji, I just want to raise, I have heard my friend from the Congress and BJP both, but I just want to tell one thing. You see, when Mr. Modi goes to America, he is not the only BJP leader. I consider it, he is representing India. He is our Prime Minister. But look what happened. When he went to Kargil, at the post, there was a firing across the line. When the Chinese president comes here and he talks, in Chumar what happened, you see the Chinese people have entered in our area. I just want to say that the point right now, India, you see, US gives $5 billion to India for purchase of arms and all that, and the very next day, $7 billion to Pakistan to purchase the arms on that. This is what they want. They want to escalate the tension in this area. And then one point very interesting. Had Mr. Modi discussed, on the foreign policy, on the foreign policy we used to have, Arnab, one point. On the foreign policy we used to have a consensus, whether going before to UN General Assembly, Mr. Modi has discussed the BJP leaders, have discussed with the Congress leaders, have they discussed in Parliament, the other opposition leader, that UN, he is going to address the UN. What are the issues he has to take up on behalf of India? He has not done this exercise. So there is a point. What I am telling, India needs to have such a foreign policy because we have to face tremendous pressure what is happening in Middle East.
MJ, I don't know. Why are you presuming? Why are you presuming that the Prime Minister will do anything against national interest? I mean, I have a right to question the BJP tonight on whether they will be more assertive of Indian interests vis-a-vis America.
On the base, Arnabji, on foreign policy issue, earlier also in NDA regime and UPA regime, there used to have a consensus, and Prime Minister used to discuss with all political parties. Has Mr. Modi discussed with that? That's the point I just...
MJ Akbar, would you like to quickly respond, and I'll come to you, Pawan Verma, after that.
May I say something?
No, let MJ Akbar respond to that allegation. An allegation has been made. Let him respond.
Arnab, I think there was once a communist Home Minister of India, Indrajit Gupta, and I don't recall that regime having very major discussions with with the opposition parties of that time before the Prime Minister then went, right? But they
were having on Kashmir, holding the election Kashmir, we had a discussion. At that point of time on other side. You were not in that time in BJP, you were in other side.
Why are we? I'm sorry, Arnab, please, can we, as Pawan said, have a serious debate instead of having a bazaar debate?
This is a serious issue. I just want to remind you.
Okay, Mr. Anjan, you made your point. He has a right to respond to you now.
We are really seriously discussing.
Hear him, please. He's responding to you. So let him hear him, please. Let's not get personal. Yeah.
I'd like to respond, in fact, to the very intelligent points made by others, right? In which some serious issues were raised and pointed out, and we have every right to a discussion and debate on this. I would like to point out on the issue of Kargil. I don't know, Arnab, if you have read KP Nair's story today in the Telegraph, or was it yesterday in the Telegraph, of what precisely happened during the Kargil war, when Narendra Modi used, these papers had just been revealed, when used his influence in Washington in order to persuade the Clinton administration to harden its stand against Nawaz Sharif, and that pressure actually worked brilliantly. It worked brilliantly, and the Congress in particular took up the issue, and Nawaz Sharif had to actually bow down before the pressure that was generated by Narendra Modi's presence. And this was not widely known because Narendra Modi did it in the national interest without going around, with a trumpet to blare his own contribution, because he did it as a patriot and as a person helping the nation at a time of crisis. And that indeed is the way that foreign policy is best conducted, not as an opportunity for being a gladiator, but as an opportunity for doing good for the country. I would like to point out, however, one thing, that on the sidelines of the UN presence, I don't think there is a meeting that is going to happen with Nawaz Sharif. But for me, it is very important that a meeting is going to take place with Sheikh Hasina, and not for me, I think for the country. That's what really I meant, not myself. I'm sorry about that. With Bangladesh, and I think our relations with Bangladesh are very important.
So why are you sidestepping?
So
why are you sidestepping? No, sir, one second. So why are you sidestepping? Sir, why? So America. So sorry. So sorry, sir. I feel you are sidestepping. No, sir.
In the neighborhood.
No, sir.
And use this opportunity to create a new kind of consensus with our neighbors and neighborhood in this region. All of it goes towards a very important and developing narrative, which is
MJ Akbar. No. One second. MJ Akbar.
Narendra Modi's emerging foreign policy.
MJ Akbar, we will determine the success of Narendra Modi's foreign policy from not only the importance of his bilateral with Sheikh Hasina in Bangladesh, for which we need no American intervention. And he did not even have the meeting in New York.
Yes,
he can have it anywhere.
Absolutely right.
So Mike,
and I would like you to wait, Arnab, for the discussions that take place in Washington. Before those discussions,
sir, all I remember,
I don't think that anyone has a right to either disclose the contents of that discussion or to pass judgment on it before they have taken place.
I would like to remind you, sir, that there is a party called the Bharatiya Janata Party. No, Pawan Verma is taking you on 1 second. But there is a party called the Bharatiya Janata Party, which ad nauseum used to accuse the Congress Party of servility, of sacrificing Indian interests and not being assertive enough vis-a-vis America. To a representative of that party, let me complete, sir. To a representative of that party by the name of MJ Akbar, I would like to bring to his attention that just a few days before the America identified the JUD as a Lashkar alias in June 2014, the Senate Committee on Appropriations approved a total of $960 million US, almost what the Obama administration requested for. And we want to know from you, you met John Kerry, you met Chuck Hagel, you're going to meet Obama, what are they going to give you? Will they say, because you have said that all my military aid to Pakistan is diverted against India, what are we going to get? What are the people of India going to get? That's not a small thing to ask for. It's only repeating what you asked for yourself.
When you go to Washington, to cover that event as a journalist, you will find the answers.
I hope I do.
Have a little patience.
I hope I do.
I know you're not very famous for patience.
Sir, that's all right. Sir, actually, it's the BJP which lost its patience vis-a-vis the UPA government on these issues. Okay, Pawan Verma, please. Yes, Pawan Verma. Pawan Verma, responding now.
I just want to say, I want to make 3 points. First of all, there is no doubt whether there is a strategic partnership between Mr. Manu Singhvi and MJ Akbar. There is no doubt that the Prime Minister goes as a representative of the nation, and we respect him on that platform. Secondly, I think there is no doubt that we cannot prejudge what will happen in Washington as the visit unfolds. But there is one question I want to raise, that foreign policy must be a carefully calibrated exercise, and sometimes I get the feeling, and I could be wrong, that the Prime Minister seems to be in a great hurry on foreign policy initiatives.
Why?
For instance, let me complete this. I don't mean it as a critique, I'm raising it as a query. Now, since he has assumed power in the 100 days that we've had, there have been a flurry of initiatives. I'm mentioning this because they are relevant in the context of the American visit. Now, what happened in the case of Pakistan? We had Nawaz Sharif come for the swearing in, but we've later had the maximum number of ceasefire violations, crossing almost 36, touching 40 soon, blatantly, and the response was, because I don't believe a strategic response had been thought out, was to call for foreign secretary level talks and then to cancel them for a precedent that had already been set. It was a very unconvincing display. The same problem with China thus far, only as examples I'm quoting.
Dr. Singhvi, I see that. I'm coming to you.
It's very good to have a dialogue with China. It's a neighbor. It's a neighbor. But when we had the Chinese president here, that was one of the largest incursions into India. When the Vice President of India went to China, China brought out a map showing Arunachal Pradesh as a part of China.
Yes, sir.
So even though the Prime Minister may be in a hurry, I hope when he is in the United States, the ceremonial and the pageantry is far less important than this carefully planned strategic doctrine that takes a sustained framework to this relationship and pushes it into the future.
I saw, I was seeking an intervention from Abhishek Manu Singhvi. I saw his hand go up there. Just summary of the points. And by the way, Dr. Singhvi, I am not against your new partnership with the BJP. I am flummoxed. I don't hold a card against it. I wouldn't say I'm impressed. But neither am I horrified. I just find it very interesting today that something is happening on the News Hour which has not happened in the last 8 years that I have, consistently anchored this program, which is a declaration of a BJP-Congress partnership. Yeah, no, you have a right, sir. You have a right to come together with them. I'm just amazed at what's going on. Yeah, Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Yeah, please.
Time is before you touch staggering heights of exaggeration,
so
let me bring you down to earth, because what I'm going to say now might demolish your previous sentences.
Right.
I want to go ahead a little bit from what Pavan Verma said.
Right.
And I think whatever else it does or doesn't do, it certainly demolishes your previous few sentences.
You don't have to consciously try to do that, sir.
Can I just give me just two minutes, less than 2 minutes. I have got into trouble by saying the same thing, but I have no hesitation in repeating it, that when Modi spoke on Independence Day, there is pretty little you can find unacceptable out his words. The problem is the deeds. The problem is that he gives the feeling now, both in the China, both in the Japan, both in the possibly in the USA, which is now coming up, and in a lot of other domestic things, he gives the impression that it's all about imagery, optics, impressions, photo opportunities, feel-good factors, and extremely impressive eloquence and oratory. Now, if that is praise, the problem is that the moment it comes to deeds, the preach versus practice hiatus, the actual concrete achievements from the visits, the countables. Now, I just took a briefing today, for example, just to give you an example, Arnav, very quickly.
Yes.
Where I've traced each of the details of the various incursions and infiltrations by the Chinese, and astonishingly, while discussing Guangzhou and the capital of that province, the circulation by the additional Chief Secretary of Gujarat of a map, Mr. Pandian,
I noticed
which shows not only Arunachal as disputed territory, but even Aksai Chin as fully Chinese territory, and Jammu and Kashmir also disputed territory. And we have not received any, Arnav, 1 second only, we have not received we have received no statement to the nation by the Prime Minister of India that while I am tangoing in Sabarmati, what is happening about the border, at least give a statement to the nation. I have demanded it today for the Congress
Party. So what's your bigger point?
A very stiff
what's your larger point? Make your point, sir.
So my point
Short of time, make the larger point.
Yes, only one sentence. Only one sentence. The larger point, as you rightly put it, is that I just hope that US is not a repeat of the optics, the imagery, the photo opportunities and all the bonhomie and the nice words. It has to have the deliverables, the countables, the feelables, the concreteness.
Right.
That's go to the real test.
All right.
There is no doubt that the Prime Minister is an excellent showman on the first score.
Sir, you're calling the Prime Minister a showman?
On the second score.
You're calling the Prime Minister of India a showman?
I'm certainly saying that he has. I'm certainly.
You're calling him a showman.
I told you.
I don't know what's it. Just a small observation on the aside. Just a small observation on the aside. What you have just seen, ladies and gentlemen. What you have just seen, ladies and gentlemen, unfold on television right before your eyes has been the creation of the most unexpected alliance and the fission of that same alliance in the course of about approximately 20 minutes. So a Congress-BJP partnership on the News Hour, for the record, lasted 20 minutes. MJ Akbar, go beyond the optics. I think we are going to close quickly, but not before giving you an opportunity to respond to that. Go beyond optics. We will want deliverables.
Arnav, on the issue of China and on the incursions, I'd just like to remind my friend Abhishek that he wanted a statement from the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister raised this issue extremely strongly with his Chinese counterpart right there during the talks.
No.
I think he's forgotten.
MJ, counter it. MJ, you're getting a counter argument.
That even a toothache can hurt the whole body. That a toothache. He warned the Chinese leadership that please.
No, you're getting counters. No, Pawan Verma is countering you. No, once again. Pawan Verma is countering you, sir. 2 counters coming in. I'm sorry. Pawan Verma. He's not taking you at face value. Pawan Verma.
Toothache analogy is a very, very evocative one, but it has no impact on the ground. The Chinese troops, in fact, have aggravated their incursion into India.
Our defense forces on the ground gave the proper immediate response. And I think you should be aware of that under Mr. Arun Jaitley's leadership in the defense, that was properly given.
No, but you know, you haven't been able to effectively counter.
You gave a response.
No, you have. So 1 second. You haven't been able to counter a very serious charge that BJP foreign policy, according to Abhishek Manu Singhvi, he levels a charge tonight, though he doesn't answer mine. He says BJP foreign policy is showmanship and optics. And we want deliverables. So when Mr. Modi comes back on the 2nd or 1st or whenever he comes back, people of India will want concrete deliverables, sir. You also know that there cannot be a repeat of the highs and lows of the China visit.
Over $50 billion investment is not optics. It's hard cash.
$50 billion? From where?
I said over $50 billion between Japan and China is not hard optics.
Between Japan and China?
It's hard cash.
No, so Abhishek Manu Singhvi, it's hard cash. You talked about...
not the only thing India needs.
That is not right now.
If our own business will begin to reinvest in India,
whatever our government delivers will always be inadequate.
Begin to reinvest in India, we'll have it. Let's not give a unidimensional view to foreign policy.
Atul Kumar Anjan, yes.
This very tough standards against the Indian exports, very tough bindings against the Indian export in United States of America, all these has to be discussed. And another very important point, when BJP was in opposition, they used to make that the government of India is not talking and for the democratization of United Nations and extension of the Security Council. I hope that our Prime Minister, while discussing with the American President, he will stress upon that the changed world situation demands that India should be represented in the United Nations Security Council.
Sure, we
this
should.
has to be very forcibly conveyed to the US President.
Like
that is the point which
I agree totally.
And I think...
I agree totally.
Permanent. Permanent.
I agree with you, but it was 4 years back that Barack Obama in November 2010
and I think our Prime Minister, Mr. Akbar, you say his international personality, his style of functioning. I hope in the United Nations when he goes, he will use all his talent and then convince and see that India comes and gets a permanent membership of United Nations Security Council, and US will not stop the whole approach and they will support this one.
Well, it wasn't, you know, Barack Obama mentioned that before a joint session of the Indian Parliament when he visited here. I think Modi should remind him of that promise that America backs India's presence at the UN Security Council. I think at the end of the day on foreign policy issues, we'd like to see a coming together. No, we'd like to see a coming together, but MJ Akbar promises deliverables, Abhishek Manu Singhvi wants deliverables, and we don't want Mr. Modi to come back from America empty-handed, but at least with a few concrete assurances, not just on the economy, but on strategic issues. I thank you all, and for all our viewers, you must track our coverage with me, Maruf Raza, Navika Kumar, and our entire crew from New York and Washington over the next few days. I look forward to your viewership. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on That Chat.